The Special Investigating Unit's case against contractors who built a substandard border fence at Beitbridge has suffered a major setback today. Experts who assessed its quality refused to testify before the Special Tribunal of the High Court, saying they feared for their lives if they did so. The tribunal dismissed the SIU's application to postpone the trial so the unit can get to the bottom of the concerns. eNCA's Lindsay Dentlinger has been following proceedings in the High Court in Gauteng here in Johannesburg and joins us now for an update. So, Lindsay, we were expecting the testimony of the experts today. That did not happen over the alleged safety fears. What has the tribunal heard? In this regard?
So, Tulas, this matter, we've been waiting for trial for a year now. That's when the SIU first approached the tribunal to try to claw back money spent on this substandard border fence, only to hear today from Ishmael Semenya, who's representing the SIU, that these experts who went out to assess this fence, Tulas, and to determine its quality, refused to testify. They ignored calls from the SIU to provide their professional details, to indicate and provide their CVs to the court to come and testify what the contents of that report, saying that they didn't realize at the time when they agreed to go and do this investigation and this assessment that they would be required to come and give testimony in an open court, and that, quote, they feared for their lives and the risk to us, they said, that this would cause to their businesses. Ishmael Semenya telling the tribunal that he was very surprised by these reasons, given that they hadn't had time to explore what this was all about, why these experts said they feared for their lives. And so he had asked the tribunal early this morning to postpone proceedings so that they could get to the bottom of all of this. But the judge, not having any of it, she said that during the case management for this trial, no indications had been given. There had been plenty of time for them to consult with these expert witnesses and to determine why they wouldn't want to appear before the court. And so she dismissed that application, saying she would provide the reasons in her merits judgment later, and that the case had to proceed. But here is Ishmael Semenya, the advocate for the Special Investigating Unit, putting it to the court why these expert witnesses did not want to appear.
I can do no more than to say to your ladyship that when that undertaking was made about filing the 36 9A and B the following day, there was, at least on my part, full confidence that we would not have the experts spinning on us. I did not anticipate that at all.
Yes, but the explanation I would have expected is why that aspect of the expert report was left until the last minute. Because now you're seeking remand, right? You've always known that that expert would be required.
No, we did, and we myopically maybe accepted that having obtained instructions to do an inspection and compile a report, and they're professionals, they would necessarily comply with their duty as independent experts to give us the report. That now they get threatened by something like our lives are in danger, it was a complete surprise. Exactly why their life is in danger, we don't know. Why it is that there would be a reputational, what they say is a reputational risk to their company, we don't also know what that's supposed to mean. Because we would have expected them to do no more than to confirm their investigation and their conclusions on the report. But I can do no better than just giving you that as an explanation, my lady.
So, Lindsay, the court now hearing whether the contractors should be allowed to profit from the fence that they delivered and placing the blame on government following the project.
Yes, Tulas, they're saying they are being subjected to character assassination, that they delivered exactly what government asked them to do. There were site visits, they delivered on specifications, they had to acquire these materials during the hard lockdown, they never complained about it, they got the job done, they stayed within budget, they completed this within the month that they were given. They did so under very trying circumstances, very hot along that borderline, and they're saying they are just being really unfairly treated, that they're the scapegoat in all of this, because we are now seeing visuals of a fence that has been breached, that has holes in it, that is flattened in some parts. But they say drone footage will show to us that when they handed this fence over to government, it was exactly what government asked for. In actual fact, lawyers for the two defendants saying today that their clients had even hired private security to keep that fence safe, that they had submitted daily reports to government in which they indicated throughout the construction process to us that security was a problem on this border line, that the borderline was being breached, that the fence was not secure, and that they even hired security at their own cost 4 days after the project was completed. They were still had these private security guards in place to quote to allow the SANDF to get their act together. And so they're saying this is really unfair. The fact of the matter remains that they did the work. They should be compensated for it in some form. But whether you can consider this to be profiting or whether they only are compensated for the work done, that is really what the court is grappling with now. The judge saying that this is a really complex matter. We can't expect a judgment, possibly not before the end of the year, if not early in the new year, to determine exactly how it should be, if she finds in the defendant's favour that they are to be compensated for the work that they've done. We know that the department paid them 21 million rand of the 37 million rand that this fence was due to cost, and the defendants saying that their clients are due for the work that they've done. They are professionals. It has been made out that they didn't know what they were doing, but they were delivering exactly what was asked of them. And here's one of the defendant's lawyers explaining to the court.
Your Ladyship must accept that this fence was handed over. There was a practical completion certificate and a completion certificate signed by the department, the SANDF, the contractor and the engineer. The Ladyship must therefore accept that there was full performance of this agreement. Full performance, not anything out of place and all the snags attended to. So the government got the fence they wanted at the price they agreed to. That is what happened in this case. And it happened in between 30 to 38 degrees Celsius in a month. It isn't, I don't think this department has any other project that's on time and within budget. But it was done. Now, the government wants Your Ladyship to restrict the defendants to profit. It's actually an outrage.
The government got the fence they wanted, Lindsay Dentlinger, despite the fact that you and I have come to know it as a washing line, courtesy of the opposition, just around that scandal of that border fence in Beitbridge. Lindsay Dentlinger, thank you. It's a complex but very important story. Let's see how it unfolds. I have questions, for instance, around the ability of these expert witnesses to say, we're simply not going to take part and testify at these court proceedings at the Special Tribunal. Intriguing, interesting.